Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. Today we'll be discussing whether or not Harry ever visited the Dursley family after he grew into adulthood. From the opening paragraph of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, it's understood that the Dursleys are not the easiest people to get along with. They are almost explicitly stated to be rather unreasonable people who are not fond of anything that might make them appear to be anything other than absolutely normal. The description of Harry's maternal Aunt Petunia and her husband Vernon goes a little something like, Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal, thank you very much. They were the last people you'd expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious, because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. These first few sentences about Petunia and Vernon Dursley do much to set the stage for their relationship at the time with their nephew, a soon-to-be 11-year-old wizard, Harry. That is, even before, and certainly not after Harry was accepted into Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, they never quite liked little Harry and what he represented. For, in their minds, Harry was everything they wished to distance themselves from, namely, the inexplicably strange world of witchcraft and wizardry. As it were, Harry never had the best relationship with his aunt and uncle, nor did he particularly like their son, his cousin, Dudley, a boy who happened to be the same age as Harry, but who had little else in common with him. Growing up, Dudley would bully Harry both at home and at school, and prior to Harry's acceptance to Hogwarts, held 2 proper bedrooms for himself, while Harry was made to sleep in a cupboard under the stairs. In fact, Harry's poor treatment was summed up quite well by Professor Albus Dumbledore, the very person who decided to place Harry with the Dursleys for Harry's own safety. Dumbledore paused, and although his voice remained light and calm, and he gave no obvious sign of anger, Harry felt a kind of chill emanating from him, and noticed that the Dursleys drew very slightly closer together. You did not do as I asked. You have never treated Harry as a son. He has known nothing but neglect and often cruelty at your hands. The best that can be said is that he has at least escaped the appalling damage you've inflicted upon the unfortunate boy sitting between you. Over time, Harry's relationship with his family hardly improved, with the exception of Dudley no longer believing him to be a waste of space. This is presumably due to the fact that Harry saved his cousin from a group of Dementors who would have sucked out Dudley's soul had Harry not been there. This brings us to the question of today's video. After growing up in this type of environment with the Dursleys, did Harry ever visit them after he became an adult? Because, let's be honest, no one would blame him if he didn't. Sadly, I don't think Vernon and Petunia ever made any efforts to stay connected with their nephew after he left their home on number 4 Privet Drive, nor do I think Harry had any interest in keeping in touch either. Vernon was obviously quite open about his dislike for Harry, or the boy as he more commonly called him, whereas Petunia, who seemed to secretly harbour some sentimentality and perhaps even love towards Harry, was likely altogether too stubborn and proud of a person to ever try to reconcile. As a result, I think the Dursleys' former estrangement with the Potters, Harry's parents, probably transferred onto Harry, his future wife Ginny, and their 3 children, James, Albus, and Lily. That said, I do think there was a glimmer of hope for him and Dudley. This is supported by revelations from J.K. Rowling, who has said that she has always thought that Harry and Dudley had a relationship with one another later in life, exchanging holiday cards and getting their 2 families together on occasion. She said, Harry and Dudley would still see each other enough to be on Christmas card terms, but they would visit more out of a sense of duty and sit in silence so that their children could see their cousins. So it would seem that Harry and Dudley did have a relationship as adults in which they would visit one another, however formal and strained these visits were. Another reference point for Harry's adult relationship with the Dursleys can be gleaned from a few lines in the play Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I thought it had gone forever, and then, when your great-aunt Petunia died, hidden amongst her possessions, surprisingly, Dudley found this, and he kindly sent it on to me. In this passage, Harry is explaining to his son how he came to be reunited with the blanket that he'd been wrapped in as a baby after his parents had been murdered by Voldemort. While I'm not suggesting that this be taken as canon, the details provided here can be used to further support the idea that Harry stayed connected with his cousin. I think that it also supports the idea that he didn't necessarily keep in touch with his aunt and uncle, or at least not well enough to be on visiting terms. This seems apparent in the way that Harry describes how Dudley found the blanket, suggesting that Harry wasn't involved in the intimate act of sorting Petunia's possessions after she had died. Despite not maintaining close ties with Petunia and Vernon, however, Harry's relationship with Dudley is further supported by the fact that Dudley knew he'd found something that would be of great value to Harry, and went out of his way to send it to his cousin. And with that, we've come to the end of today's video. What did you think? Do you agree that Harry likely visited Dudley, but not Petunia and Vernon as an adult? Please share your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, remember, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live.